So, in the season of layoffs, I have brought some more bad news for you. And this comes from once considered one of the world's best company for developers, Google. Python Flutter teams latest on the Google shopping block. Never mind the record revenues, cost must be cut. So I'm sure that you have heard about the recent buzz in Twitter or in other places that Google has laid off their Python team for cost cutting purposes. Now, the unfortunate reality is that it's not only limited to the Python team, and the cherry on the top is that some Flutter and Dart developers also lost their jobs. Google's latest round of layoffs have hit engineers working on its Flutter and Python teams. Despite Alphabet last week reporting a 57% year on year jump in net profit to $23 billion for Q1, more roles are being expunged as the mega corporation cracks down on cost. The Python team is reportedly affected, and an undisclosed number of Flutter and Dart engineers have been let go. A Reddit account under the name Kevin Moore, a Google product manager for Flutter and Dart, posted, "The layoffs were decided at least a couple of layers above our team, and a lot of teams got affected. I think I can say that inside brackets." So what this means is that something came from the top management, and the engineers and the teams were not aware of it, and they got to know when they got to know, and they got laid off. So this is what the story looks like in short. Lots of good folks got bad news, and lots of great projects lost people. Flutter and Dart were not affected any more or less than others. It was a tough day, tough week. Does this mean that Flutter will be taking a tentative step towards Kill by Google graveyard? Jamboard could always use the company. Now, I'm not sure if Flutter will really be killed by Google because it's already very big, and a lot of teams are using Flutter, even outside Google. But we have to see. Things right now don't look so good. So, Flutter is an open source Dart based UI toolkit designed to allow developers to create apps across multiple platforms, both mobile, Android, and iOS, and desktop, Linux, macOS, and Windows. So, yeah, I know that Flutter is very popular and it's also open source. So, if I go to Flutter GitHub, there could be a bloodbath here right now. But anyway, we have Flutter, and as you can see, it already has 162,000 stars. But anyway, big corporations don't really care about GitHub stars. They have other big things to take care of. And we have lots of contributors, and the Dart is a primary language. I mean, it's a very active repository. I mean, we have some commits as less as 15 minutes ago. So Flutter is actually fun to use, although I have never used, but I have heard this is user friendly as well as it gives fast results as they're saying. So yeah, maybe it's too big to be killed, but let's see. It was making progress at the beginning of 2023. Now we are at the beginning of 2024 and we already see what is happening. Now appears to have fallen victim to relentless cost cutting at Google. As for the Python team, the current positions have been reportedly reduced in favor of a new team based in Munich. So, for some reason, in Munich, the cost possibly is lower than the cost in California. Possibly that is the primary reason. The register contacted Google to verify the number of reductions and to ask whether the cloud titan was still committed to Flutter platform. We have yet to receive a response. So, yeah, they're not giving a response. That means something, they're thinking of something. Maybe only open source engineers will have to take care of it. Looks like there is no other way. Moore attempted to remain optimistic, noticing that it was a sad situation and crazy to be seeing demos and new things working and discussions about new customers the same day we lost colleagues and friends. He said, "You are nervous, I get it, we get it. You are betting on Flutter and Dart, so am I, and so is Google." So yeah, I think he still has faith in Flutter. I mean, actually, I believe the developers have one problem. Once they're using a framework too much, they get attached to the framework. And they believe that this is the best framework happened to the world. But what happens is customers rarely care about someone's framework and tech stack. They only care about the product. And as long as it delivers, even in C Sharp or .NET or PHP, I mean, they are good to go. To which one wag responded, "We certainly are betting on Flutter to be killed within a few years." Okay, so there are both sides of the spectrum here. So who is betting on Flutter to be shining bright, and also the opposite. The cost cutting at Google began in January last year when 12,000 people, or 6% of the workforce, were made redundant. This was by far the most significant number of job loss at Google history. and an acknowledgement that the numbers of people recruited during the pandemic was no longer sustainable given to the downturn in business. That slowdown in business has now passed clearly, but Google is looking up to free up resources to spend more on priorities, including AI. So yeah, so looks like they are betting a lot of money on AI research and stuff, and so they are letting off Python engineers also. So it's not like people who are writing Django and Flask apps are really needed for AI. So we should also reconsider. Python, we are using Python doesn't mean we are AI engineers or even scientists. So far this year, Google has waved goodbye to staff in the core engineering group, devices and services, the Google Assistant Biz, YouTube, and many recently in finance and real estate. So it looks like Google is firing people off from every department possible. So yeah, so it's a real miracle how they are running their business, and their stocks are also going up. So I think they are not really bothered by any layoffs or anything or any bad name or anything. So as you can see, Google stocks are going up and up and up for the last 1 year. Oh, sorry, this is not the last 1 year. I mean, last 30 days compared to other companies, as you can see. So, yeah, I think they have a plan. They have a plan. We should trust the big guys. So, that's it, I would say, for this, folks. So, it was not a very good article, I would say, considering most of us are developers. And yeah, I will try to bring you something positive tomorrow. So, yeah, that's it for this, folks. And I will see you next time.